Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. This video will be a brief overview of same-sex immigration to the United States. And what we're talking about specifically are family-based visas, but with recent Supreme Court rulings and changes to the regulations that govern immigration to the United States, those family-based categories now apply to those in same-sex relationships. So what are we talking about here? Fiancé visa is a perfect example. Marriage visa is another perfect example, be it the K3, which isn't used that often, the CR1 or the IR1, and the K1 fiancé visa, which is a fiancé visa. In the past, these were only available to different sex binational couples. Now, same-sex couples can apply for similar benefits. That being said, with respect to Asia at least, we're going to concentrate this video more on the fiancé visa, specifically because in order to apply for a CR1 or an IR1, the applicant, and the petitioner and the applicant must have been married. One of the minimum requirements is that they have already been married at the time that they make the application to bring the foreign spouse to the United States. Unfortunately, at the present time in Asia, although not greater, say, the Asia-Pacific region, but in Asia specifically, there are not very many jurisdictions that currently recognize same-sex marriage. Specifically here in Thailand, there's a blurb on this channel regarding marriage registration in Thailand, and as I mentioned in that blurb, the jurisdiction of Thailand has yet to recognize same-sex marriages and does not register those at OMPRS here in the kingdom. That being said, moving forward, we're going to set CR1s and IR1s aside. If the couple is willing to travel to a jurisdiction, say New Zealand for example, and get a legal marriage in that jurisdiction, and then go ahead and apply for immigrant visa benefits, that's a possibility. But presumably, barring certain specific factual circumstances don't come into play, in most cases it's going to be fairly difficult for a same-sex couple to go ahead and do that. So probably what you're going to see in most cases, and what I've generally tended to see with respect to U.S. immigration for same-sex couples, is the K1 category. This is the fiancé visa category, and all the couple needs is a genuine intention to marry once in the United States. They don't actually have to be married at the time of application. They have to have met each other physically in person within 2 years of applying for the visa, or petitioning for the visa, I should say, but they don't have to actually be married. So for a large number of same-sex clients that I've had over the years, the K1 visa is a very beneficial, shall we say, a very beneficial travel document to get into the United States. Once in the U.S., the couple needs to go ahead and get married. In the past, this was something of an issue, as there were only so many jurisdictions in the United States which had very clear legalization of same-sex unions. It's my understanding now that with the handing down of certain Supreme Court decisions and enforcement basically from the federal level onto the state level of federal interpretation of the law, or the interpretation of federal law, the current situation in the United States is such that it's become fairly straightforward to go ahead and obtain a same-sex marriage in virtually any of the jurisdictions of the United States. That being said, it's neither here nor there for purposes of U.S. immigration. The K1 visa looks much the same as it does for different sex couples. It's basically the same process, essentially. The other thing to think about with respect to K1s, or not think about, but the other thing that often comes up when I'm questioned regarding information about the K1 process for a same-sex couple, are we going to be treated the same way as a different sex couple? Quite honestly, to their credit, Department of Homeland Security and Department of State, in my experience, treat them no differently. They process those cases through in no different a manner than they would process any other case through. So it's been my experience that there is no real issue on that front. But that being said, they do process in the same manner as any other case. So you have to be aware of certain evidentiary requirements, the due diligence that both, again, Department of Homeland Security and Department of State are going to have to undertake in order to ascertain whether or not the couple actually meets the statutory requirements for the visa itself. And then finally, ascertain whether the relationship is genuine in nature and not just being used to obtain visa benefits. Again, all of these issues are ones that have to be sussed out by the various departments. But that being said, this happens to different sex couples. This isn't something that's anyone is sort of singling one couple out. It happens across the board. Those cases are processed in an identical manner, frankly, to the different sex cases. Again, at present, it's probably more convenient for those same-sex couples here in Asia to go ahead and immigrate using a K-1. It may be possible, again, to travel to a third country jurisdiction, which goes ahead and allows marriage. I've even known some couples who did have a tourist visa. The foreign's later spouse had a tourist visa. They went ahead and used that, got married in the U.S., and still undertook consular processing through a U.S. Embassy abroad in order to ultimately get their immigrant visa. So there's various ways that that this can be done. But it should be noted that, again, the process from a legal standpoint, from a practitioner standpoint such as myself, it's really no different, but it's just sort of an interesting turn of events because at one time, and it wasn't that long ago, these immigration benefits were not available to a fairly large segment of the population of Americans living abroad, and now that is now a possibility. So overall, it's quite a positive turn of events. Thank you.